energy right now. So In this version of the point class, the data is stored in private variables x and y by methods typex and x. Here validating and saying the value of x and y. Or for validating and setting the value. So these are special then. Or so I'm kind of confused. Okay, so that's interesting. So it seems like these are special then. So I guess the underscore is like a special syntax. At first I was confused because there's nothing calling the y underscore or like the x underscore method. So I was trying to figure out like how those were being called, but from what it looks like is that if you have a variable underscore, that's like a special thing. That means that it will check like the output. So it's like, so I guess an underscore means that it's like a setter for it. Notice the method has appended to the identifier the getter, and the parameters come after. The method has what? Yeah, that's what I was confused about. Because like this isn't how defs normally work in Scala. Because normally in Scala, a def would look like well, I guess it would look kind of like this. Because normally you would have like def, some kind of func, right? And then you would have its return type. So like whatever. It's like int, and then you would go in here and then define it. So I didn't understand what like, or if you were gonna like pass it variables, right? Then you could say param, like I don't know, also an int, right? And this is how you would define it, and then you would do your stuff in here. So I don't understand what this syntax is, because this doesn't look like a normal syntax, because like you're not like giving it a variable, like whatever. Okay. So primary constructors are public. However, because vowels are immutable, you can't write the following. So you couldn't write this, and then val point is equal to new point 1, 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So that makes sense. So those are two ways of doing like, see, but the thing is though, is that this way, see, this is weird. And it's one way that it's like, another way that it's like not quite as good as Java, I think, is that like when you're trying to define like when you're defining a class in Java, you would have like, oh, I forget the name of it, but you know, like if you have a class, then you would have like a method inside the class with like that same name that you would use to like initialize all the variables. So you can't really do that in Scala, because instead in Scala what you do is that you initialize it all in here. So all of your variables would be like, you know, x int and then y. So it's like this. And I feel like this gives you a lot less flexibility than in Java. And if you wanted more flexibility, you have to do it this way, where you manually define private variables, and that just doesn't look as clean as the Java way of doing it. But all right, let's look at traits. So what is a trait? Traits are used to share interfaces and fields between classes. They're similar to Java 8's interfaces. Classes and objects can extend traits, but traits cannot be instantiated and therefore have no parameters. So if you guys weren't here yesterday, I went over this. I went over this a bunch yesterday, so we were going to... So, by the way, for people that are new here, so this is like the second day of learning Scala. So the first day, we covered a lot of this stuff. Now we're going a bit more in depth with this. All right. So let's work on this. So let's talk about traits. And then, oh man, I forgot how to do this. Well, I also have to give it a file name. Oh yeah, wait, this is from yesterday. Okay. I probably don't. Oh man, yeah, this is where we got really stuck yesterday. Because, I mean, because the way I've been doing this is that I sort of like look at like one paragraph of like a tutorial and then I just spend like an hour on it. So this is something kind of similar, where this was supposed to be like a one-line example of like what a trait is, and then I spent like an hour trying to figure out like trying to take it apart and try to like figure out like weird edge cases and stuff with it. And this particular line here that I'm on right now took me like a really long time to try, because I was trying to figure out how lists and subtypes with traits work. But anyways, so something that's super odd about Scala for people that weren't here yesterday, and something that really messes me up, is that, like, so if you ignore this line, like, if you wanted to get something out of, so if you wanted to run through a list, right, you could do, like, .for each, which, that kind of makes sense. And then you have this syntax. So the syntax in here is an anonymous function, right? And what the anonymous function does is that it, so pretty much the anonymous function just takes one parameter, which is element, right? And then it just does print line element. That makes sense. But if you wanted to access a single element in an array, this took me forever. I was trying to do like lists. Like if I wanted to access like that anonymous function that I have there in the actual list itself, like I tried doing like this and that didn't work, and I tried a bunch of things. It's super strange. It turns out that in Scala, you like access array members by like with parentheses, which makes no sense. Because normally, because this would be like if it was a function, but it's not a function. You're actually just getting the elements out of here, because like that's the thing is that like list here. I mean, this list is like an object, right? So I don't know how this works where you can just like this doesn't make sense to me. Like how this could be like defined like in a higher level. I mean, I'm guessing like or like I guess closer like how I don't know exactly how Scala would implement this. Maybe there's like a default function where it's like if I call so if I call this so if I call this object here, right? And I don't do dot function, right? I just call it with this. Maybe there's like some sort of default function and then it gets the array element, but I don't know. That was very weird. Actually, this isn't even the one that has traits in it, so I'm gonna I'm just gonna move this somewhere else to so I'm gonna have object what is this called? Traits. And then oh man, I forgot the syntax for it already. Hang on. I need any Scala file. Okay, so it's object. Oh, that's all. Okay. And then I'm trying to remember how to define the main method. 27. Why? Okay. Whew, there we go. So if I call trait hair color, and then, okay, so anyways, class and objects can extend traits, but traits cannot be instantiated and therefore have no parameters. So classes and objects can extend traits, but so well, I was talking about this yesterday, and just from this like one-line description, this sort of sounds like not exactly, but similar to, I forget what it's called. I haven't done any sort of like object-oriented thing ever, so that makes this language like difficult, especially to learn. But this sort of reminds me of in Java, you have like I think what is it called, like those abstract objects or whatever, where it's like you can't instantiate it directly, but you can, but like if you inherit from it, you can, like I forget what it's called. Maybe it actually uses. I think the keyword is abstract. So then it's only when you inherit from it can you use it. That's sort of what a trait reminds me of, except the difference is that you're not like it's not inheriting, you're extending it. And I guess in some ways I kind of like that better than Java's way of doing it. So I guess, well, whatever. So simply the keyword trait and okay, that's cool. Traits become especially useful as generic types and with abstract methods. So if I have trait iterator, what the heck? What the heck is a? Def as next. Okay, this is something that I don't get. Is that I don't get. So I see this a lot in Scala. And I'm not quite sure. Like sometimes you need parentheses and sometimes you don't. But actually what I've noticed is that most times it doesn't matter. I think that actually is a Scala thing because they have like the unit. And unit is like nothing. And then unit is also the same as like parentheses. So maybe like, so a lot of the times empty parentheses are equivalent to just not putting anything, but sometimes they're not. So watch out. Extending the trait iterator. Yeah, I know this is not nearly as interesting as when I'm doing the Linux from scratch streams. Those normally are more entertaining, but I have no clue what I'm doing here. So extending the trait iterator requires a type A and implementations of the methods has next and next. Okay, so how do I use a trait? So use the extends keyword to extend a trait, then implement any abstract members of the trait using the override keyword. All right, so let's make a class. Okay, let's see, int iterator. Oh, wait a second. Oh, so A isn't a type. A is like, oh, so A is like an abstract type, like, or it's like a generic type or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about Java. Like, for people that were here, like, if you remember yesterday, like, I was like, this stream ended up being like a half Scala stream and a half Java stream because I was doing so much Java stuff, trying to like figure out like Java equivalents for all of this. So actually, I learned a lot of Java yesterday too. All right, so private var current equals 0, override def. Okay, so private var current is equal to 0. And then override def has next. So it's a boolean, and that's equal to. Okay, what the heck is? Oh! I see. We're just doing a comparison. Current less than 2. What? Oh, okay, because it takes 2 and then current. If as next. LT is equal to current, and then current plus equals 1, and then return T. Is that what that's saying? Is that we're returning? Yeah, that's also weird. How in Scala, like, you don't like manually return things. It's just the last statement and whatever block you're in automatically like that's the return thing, which I guess that's not like how Python works, but that's how like a lot of interpreters work, I guess. Actually, no, I know what it's like. That's like Bash, because in Bash, if you have multiple statements in a block, then the then it's the last thing in the block that's the return statement. That's what it is. All right, else 0. I'm so bad at that. I can't do that yet. Well, iterator is equal to new int iterator 10, and then I'm going to do iterator dot next. So what is this going to do? So this is going to make a new iterator and initialize it at 10. So it's going to initialize it at 10. Anyways. So what this is going to do is that I'm making a new iterator. So this makes sense. So it's going to, so the value of 2 is going to be 10. And then has next is going to be current less than 2. So now has next is going to be true. So if has next. So I'm going to make this thing called t that's current. And then I'm going to increment current. And then I'm sort of confused why there's t on the last line. Is it like returning t? Like why does that have to say that? Current plus equals 1. And then it's just t. Anyways. Like why would it need to return it? It's just doing if, right? So but whatever. So what this is going to do is that it's going to be iterator. All right, thank you so much, RedRook14, for the follow. Means a lot, dude. Yeah, this is not nearly as exciting as the Linux from scratch streams. Those normally are a lot more entertaining. Here, I'm just sitting here being confused. So a stream with me sitting here confused is not super entertaining. Okay, but anyway, so it does next, and then if it has next, okay, that's cool. I'm sort of confused why I need to have t here at the end. Is it saying that this is like returning t? Is that what's going on? Like if I try to print this, right? Is it going to... Well, I guess because next returns an int, right? Oh, that is what it does. You know, I didn't read here. They do say it returns 0 and returns 1. Okay, that explains it then. Okay, so subtyping. When a given trait is required, a subtype of the trait can be used instead. All right, let's see what we got. So we're gonna import scala.collection.mutable.array buffer. And with this, what I can do now is that, so I can make a trait called pet. I'm gonna do that. So, trait pet, file name, string. Okay, so I'm making the trait called a pet. Okay. And then I'm making class cat. Oh, that's interesting. So when I am, so what, pretty much what this is saying is that I'm defining this class with something from the trait that it extends. What is this process? Ugh. All right. Anyways. Oh, wait, I didn't even see that somebody messaged the chat. Bring back the LFS. Yeah, I will. Actually, I've done so much work on that. Like, I really want to show it off because it's very cool. Like, I've made so much progress. Right now, I'm 85 hours into the LFS project. So that's yeah, so it's been a lot, but I'm at the stage now where like, oh wait, hang on, that's not gonna work. Okay. Dog. Actually, so this looks pretty nice now, right? So the trait has an abstract field name, which gets implemented when I cat their dog in their constructor. And the last time pet that name, which must be implemented in any subtype of the trait pet. Yeah, that's really strange. It's like, it's weird how that counts, you know? Like isn't like, so I should explain what I'm saying. Because like normally with traits, like what you have to do is that there's like, you know, like if there's functions, so for this example, like all of the functions that are in this trait, you have to override them. You have to override them here. So what's interesting though is that what you can also do, what it looks like, is that if it takes, so if inside the trait there's like a variable, you can ask for it here like in the constructor. What I wonder though is that could I do it the other way though? So could I also do it like this? So can I do that, and then can I just ask for so can I say val, what was it, val name string. I guess I can just do it like this, right? So I can do val name string, and then I can do like oh, how does this work again? Oh no, I guess I would define it like this. Maybe this won't work. That's cool. You put Spark on the things you're learning. Yeah, I was just putting a bunch of things that you can do with Scala. So I've heard that there's like data science and that kind of thing. So yeah, I want to like learn a lot more about like Scala and then go on to doing things with Spark. I'm trying to remember how he did this. So it's like I had a def name is equal to name. No, it's name. But then I also had def name, and this took a value, right? So value, and it was like a string. And then this returns, I guess we can just ask it to return a unit, it doesn't matter. And then I can say name equals... Oh, crap. How does this work? Can I say name equals value? I'm trying to remember how we did this. I don't want to look at the other things that I did before just to see if I know how it works, but I might have to do that. So does this also work? Does this not make any sense? This may just not make any sense. So what I'm doing, right, is that, well, so I'm making a dog that has that name. And then, oh, I have to use the new keyword. But, although sometimes you don't need the new keyword, which is weird. But, so, if I'm making a new, or actually this would be for the cat, so I'm making a new cat. And apparently I can, actually no, if I'm calling it like this, I think it does have to be in here, right? Is that how we did that? Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna look back at the other one. So what we did here, does that mess the, oh no, okay, that should be okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. I think I get it. So if I want to do something similar here, what I could do, well, actually, let me just try running this, and I want to see the error message that I get. I mean, first, the error message is just going to say that, you know, when I'm saying, like, new cat, and then I'm putting something in there, but it's not in here. So that's going to be the first error, I'm guessing. Expected semicolon, but equals was found. I actually didn't expect that to be the error. Ugh, I probably messed it up again. Dang it, I said I didn't want to look at the other one, but I'm gonna have to look at it, aren't I? So it looks here is that I said is equal to. I don't think the semicolon. I mean, I don't think the curly bracket matters, right? Because it's only one line. Oh shit. Yeah, so I actually don't get this error at all. Because this looks... Doesn't this look the same? Like, I think this looks the same as this. Oh, geez. That highlighting, though. Yeah, I don't get it. What I'm thinking the different... No, it doesn't have to do with the names. I actually had a similar problem like this when I was working on the last... Like, when I was working on the class object. I got... This isn't the first time I've seen this error. But I never really figured out how to fix it. Def name underscore. It doesn't have to do with the spaces, right? That would be crazy. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. So for some reason, things in Scala doesn't matter. Like most languages, doesn't matter how many spaces you have around your equals. Except for this. If you look at this, if you put a space here, I know that there's other errors, but that's not the problem. Honk, hey, what's up, man? Honk to you too. See, isn't that bizarre? That the spacing around the equal sign matters. Whatever. So that's true. So then this will also have to take a name that's a string. But should it take underscore name? I don't even know. Let's see if this works. So look at that. See it? And now this is gonna work fine. That's crazy. Both methods in class cat of type string and value name in class cat of type string. Oh. So what's the problem? Okay, so it's ambiguous reference to overloaded definition. Oh, because I have match both method name and class cat of type string of type and value name. Okay, that makes sense. So it's just that these have the same name. I don't know why it's saying the error comes here though. You'd expect the error to first arise here, but I know what order it's doing that in. So see, it would be so much easier if I just went along with the tutorial, but I'm trying to see if there's better ways or just not better ways, but I'm just trying to see like different ways of doing what they're showing you. So this actually does make sense. What if can I start with a private variable? Name is already defined. Oh. Well, see, that's actually great, because like, what if I did this? What? Immutable value required to override. What? It is immutable. Wait. Yeah, val is immutable, and then var is mutable. So, immutable value. Error stable. Oh, it has to be stable and immutable. I have no clue what stable even means. What does stable mean? Why wouldn't this be stable? Is it not stable because maybe we wouldn't pass this into it? Like, does stable mean that like this has to exist and that this variable may not exist, or? Okay, whatever. I'll worry about that later. That works now, which is cool. All right, so now let's learn about tuples. So in Scala, a tuple is a value that contains a fixed number of elements, each with a distinct type. Tuples are immutable. So tuples are especially handy for returning multiple values from a method. So a tuple with two elements can be created as follows. Let me All right, let's see if I've memorized it this time. I think it's pretty easy, right? It's just this. That's all you need. Do you need this afterwards? I don't think so. I think you can just get started. Oh, see, I forget what the main method looks like though. What is it? Def main, and then it has to take like whatever the string args equivalent is, right? So is it args, and then it's a list. So is it like list string or something. I'm gonna have to cheat again. What was that last one I was working on? Okay. Oh, I was so close. Well, I was kind of close. Wait, oh shit. Hang on. Let me look at one more thing while I'm here. Okay, and then it returns the unit. Does it have to like look exactly like this? Like, I wonder if I can return. Oh no, I experimented with this already. So equals. God, I'm so bad at typing. Anyways. So if I have val ingredient is equal to sugar 25. So this creates a tuple containing a string element and an int element. The inferred type of ingredient is string int, which is shorthand for tuple 2. So how would I say that explicitly? So here it's just val, so it's figuring out what it means. But what if I didn't want it to figure out what I meant? So is it saying that this is short for tuple 2 string int? And then I'm guessing there's already some sort of like toString here built in. So if I do print line ingredient, okay, cool. Scala uses a series of classes, tuple 2, tuple 3, etc. through tuple 22. Each class has as many type parameters as it has elements. Isn't that kind of dumb? Don't you guys think that's kind of dumb how there's like different data types for each like how there's a different type for each number of things in the tuple? Like, don't you think it should just be like tuples of or something? I don't know. And then like 22, that seems so arbitrary, you know? So, I don't know. To represent tuples, Scala uses a series of class. Okay, accessing the elements. One way of accessing tuple elements is by its position in the individual. That's so weird. Okay. So it's dot underscore. What if I tried to do it like this? Like the Java way? Well, actually that wouldn't be anything, but if I did. Does not take parameters. Okay. What if I did it the way that we learned yesterday of like okay, fine. Oh my gosh, wait, and then it's 1 base 2. It's not even 0 base, so it's dot underscore 1 for the first one, not dot underscore 0. I don't like that. So what is 0? Value 0 is not a member. Okay, that makes sense. I was saying, like, you know how in some language, like, the 0, like, for some things that are, like, 1 based, if you look at 0 to be, like, the head of it, like, I know in Wolfram language it's like that. Like, it's 1 based, and then if you look at whatever the 0th one is, that tells you, like, the type of it. So I was wondering if there was something similar. What about negative numbers? That's are expected, but... What? Okay. So that doesn't work either. That does. So you can do pattern matching on tuples. A tuple can also be taken apart using pattern matching. So val name quantity. What? Oh, I see. Okay. So that's sort of like how it works in Python, I think. So This is like, so if I do name quantity equals ingredient, and this makes sense, right? Because like, well, let me finish this. Because that makes sense, because what this is that this is a tuple, right? So pretty much what I'm doing is that I'm just setting one tuple. Actually, it's sort of like it, because pretty much what I'm doing here is that I'm just setting one tuple equal to another tuple. And that makes sense. But it's like, but then it's also, but what it's actually doing though is that it's not actually setting the tuples equal to each other, because it's also setting the things inside the tuples equal to each other, which is kind of weird. But then I can do print line quantity, and that'll print it out for me. So that's cool. A tuple can also be taken apart using pattern matching. Here, names infer type of string and quantities infer type of int. Pattern matching in tuples. So you can have var planets is equal to list. So what does this mean? So is this a list of tuples? So if I were to have var planets, so I get this, right? So this would be so all the stuff in here would be a list. So is this a list of tuples, or is the argument to list a tuple itself? Mercury. Oh my gosh, so much typing. Venus. And this is bad because my keyboard's broken, so I don't like doing things that require a lot of typing. Earth, Venus, Mars, GT 7.9, Jupiter, and that is 778.3. Planets. Okay, so that's the list. Now I can do a for each here. Case. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna have to experiment with something. So something that I'm confused about is that it is kind of this for each thing. Like, does this work? I kind of like don't believe that this works. Okay, that does work. It's weird how there you have like a curly bracket right after the for each, because the way they told you how to do it in a previous one would be like this. Does this work? See, that's ridiculous. Like, why is that optional? Isn't that crazy? How the curly brackets are optional? Because this actually makes sense if you do like parenthesis and then the argument to for each can be like this multi-line statement thing. Like, okay, that's fine. But it's weird just having like the braces just like out there in the open. Okay, so what does case do? Oh, is this a case class? We learned about this, or a case object. This might be like a case object sort of thing. It says called a no, because that's case class, which is different than what this looks like. Because this is just case. Okay, but anyway, so it's case Earth distance. I have no clue what this means. All right, what does this do? So what it looks like, I'm trying to figure this out. So we have this case thing, case Earth distance, and that's print line. Our distance is, you can't just like tell me what case is, or make me use case and not give me any indication of how it works. So, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I honestly was like staring at it for a long time, but didn't even like read it. Okay, so just what this is doing is that it's setting distance equal. Like what case is doing is that since I didn't tell it what distance is, it's filling in the So what case is doing is that it's like filling in that information. So it's saying that like. So what it's saying is that in the instances where. So we have all of these Okay, I wasn't thinking. I was honestly not even thinking about this. I was thinking about like life. But so what this is doing is that in all of the cases, right, where because don't forget we're doing planets out for each, right? So for each element here in planets, when the first element is called Earth, it's going to set this variable equal to distance, and then it's gonna do like this function. Like that's what the arrow is for, and it does this function. And then I'm guessing underscore is like it's sort of like a catch case, like a default thing, and then that just does nothing. Okay, so that's what case does. Or in for comprehension, val num pairs. What? How does this work? Val num pairs is equal to list 2, 5, 3, negative 7, 20, 56 for A, B. Seriously? No. Okay. You know, I'm just going to type it and then I'm going to figure out what it means. Print line A times B. Okay. So for AB. Oh, I get it. The arrow just means in. So that's like the same thing as like as what we were doing before. I think. So this just means, okay, so that means in. Hey Jack, how's it going? 10 negative 21. Okay. I don't really have a goal for tonight. I'm just trying to learn about Scala right now. So I guess maybe I'll do like one more section and I'll probably get off for the night. It's pretty late here. Users may sometimes hard to choose between tuples and case classes. Case classes have named elements. The names can provide the readability of some kind of code. In Planet example above, we might define case class planet. Yeah, I totally agree. Mixin, I love this. So Jack, do you have any experience with Scala or data science or anything like that? Not. Oh, jeez. Def man. Done some data wrangling. Okay. Is that similar to data scraping? Def man. I'm just trying to remember the arguments here. So it'd be args, and it is array string, and it returns nothing. Okay, so you have an ab. Are traits which are used to compose a class. So class B extends A. Class D, hang on. Extends B with C. Am I allowed to do this? Just to make myself feel better at night. Oh, of course. What am I wonder if this works though. Not enough arguments to method apply. For method apply. Int car and class string ops. What's I like this return? This is a string, right? Let me undo this real quick. So this returns something. Now what if this took an argument for fun? Or what if this didn't take any argument? Then would this just print the address of it? What? Isn't that some shit right there? Huh. And then what if you get the same thing with... Oh, my bad. Yo. Bro. Okay, this is like, it pisses me off how like arbitrary some of this stuff is. I just want to know the right way to do things. I feel like that's the best way to do things. All right, so what is this saying? So we start with an abstract class called A, and class B extends A. That makes sense. And now we're making a trait that, so the trait can also extend the, this is something else I want to see. Okay, that works. Now the thing is that we can't call on a trait on its own, right? So I can't say like val c is equal to new c, right? That's just baloney. Oh, I knew it meant it was abstract. Okay, although that was kind of obvious. So what is the difference, question, what is the difference between a trait and an abstract class? Anyways, so this trait C, it also extends A. So, and it makes this new thing called loud message. And then we have, oh, that is super weird though. What's weird is that at the point that we have this thing called C that extends A, there's no such thing as message. Isn't that weird? There's no such thing as message. But when I extend B, now could this work the other way around? Class B needs to be a trait to be, class B needs to be a trait to be mixed in. Okay, what if this was with B extend C? Okay, Okay, I guess with has to be at the end. Okay, actually, what was that error again? Class B needs to be a trait to be mixing. Oh, so I can't use B because B isn't a trait. But it works the other way around, which is weird. What if I just didn't do this at all? It's like, because now I'll get a problem with the message, right? Class D needs to be abstract, missing implementation for val message. Oh. So that's cool. So this works. So this would work, but only if I made D abstract. And I think I get why these orders have to be different then. Like I can't have, I think, wait. Can it extend multiple things? Like, I wonder if this would work. Class C has superclass B and a mixin C. Classes can only have one superclass but many mixins using the keyword extends and width respectively. Has a superclass B and a mixin C. Okay, that makes sense. So if it's D, the superclasses, but with. Okay, I get how this works now. Because it's with a trait. Classes can only have one superclass but many mixins using the keywords extends and width respectively. And the superclass may have the same supertype. Yeah, that's true. They both extend A. That's like a more interesting than starting with an abstract class. Type T def as next. What I don't get right now is why have an abstract class if you can have a trait? Because a class can extend either an abstract class or a trait. But with a trait you can also use with it. Okay. So type T. So I'm guessing type is like a generic. Yeah, the class has an abstract type T in the standard iterator methods. Next, we'll implement a concrete class. All abstract members have implementations. Lit class string iterator. Type T is equal to What? Is that a typo? There's no way that's right. That should be s.char, right? Like in Java. What do you know? String iterator takes a string. Can be used to iterate. Would this also work? Abstract class. Abs iterator. How would I do this? This may not work because it's like I'm using T twice. Oh no, it's not found. So I couldn't use it here. But wasn't there something else like any? There's one deprecation where we were. Adaptation of empty argument list is deprecated. The key object of saving target makes this especially dangerous. Signature abs iterator. Class string extends abs iterator. What? Wait. Come again. That's signature abs iterator. Huh. Anyways. But at least this works, right? Would it have to be a different name? Okay. Look at that. That's pretty cool, right? String iterator takes a string and can be used to iterate over this string. Now let's create a tray which also extends the abs iterator. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some experimenting. I can't believe the s char at I thing works. So what this does is that it takes a type t char, however I is 0, def has next is equal to I dot I. Def has next is equal to I less than s dot length. know what? Let's mix things up a little bit. Alright, this is mixins. Oh my gosh, that's so many fucking class files. Alright, what do we got? Improve your code. Is this like metal? Scala. VS Code. So I don't know which one is better. This isn't even made by like a different person. Like, who are you? I mean, I guess that's cool. And then what is this? So what does this do? Provide syntax. So that's just syntax highlighting. And this is rich IDE features. Let's go with that. Oh my gosh, I get a whole new tab. That was my Java 8 home. Oh my gosh. What is that asking? Is that what it's asking? Wait, what even is this? /system/library. Really? I thought I told Java through brew. Yeah, I did install it. Honestly, I forget these days which directories I'm allowed to access. Okay. Um, That's not a thing. This version's installed. Ugh. Is there no live exec? That's what I figured. So why is there no /user/local/libexec? Wait, what? How does it know? /system/library/ Like, how does this freaking work, dude? That is the worst. That's not terrible, right? Oh, is that a command? Jesus. Dynamic linked library. What? Oh. Build machine, OS build. Okay, so it's magic. Whatever. Alright, I can do this. I can do this. user/local. Oh, give me a fucking break, please. That is so silly. Actually, very annoying. I know. Man, sometimes I'm so stupid. So stupid. Okay. God, I feel like that's the worst. I really feel like that's the worst. I'm probably just tired. For some reason that just makes me so upset. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. I hate the spacing. Oh my gosh. So what is this doing? So def for each. That's just a trait. Def for each. And then this takes one argument that's f. And the type of f is an abstract function. So that is a lambda function that takes any type and that doesn't return anything. And then this whole thing returns a unit. What this does is that it is while has next. Yeah, because the type of f is this sort of function. So then it runs f next. Wow. So this trait implements for each by continually calling the provided function F. This trait implements for each by continually calling the provided function f, on the unit, on the next element. Nice, as long as because it doesn't need to implement the abstract members of the trait. It doesn't need to implement. We don't like to. Wow. Honestly, this is the first time I've seen something in Scala that I'm like, I really like this. Like this line right here, that's so sick. I mean, look at that. It takes a function for its argument. And like that's such a brilliant way of doing for each. I mean, that's awesome. We would like to combine the functionality of string iterator and retriever into a single class. So what does string iterator do? It's I, and then def has an x. I hate that. That's something that I hate. Like, are you for real, man? Does this work? How does that... What? The new class version. So class rich string iterator extends string iterator Scala with rich iterator. Well, rich string iterator is equal to new rich string iterator. So that's just like a one-line class right there. That, you know, that is, I like that. I like this. I like how I can just sort of like make a class like that just with one line, because everything's already included in there. So what this is doing, what does this line do? I know my Vim skills are very bad right now. So this is extending string iterator. Or a string iterator. That's super weird. That may be the one thing that I don't like. You know what? Let me actually see if I can change that. Anyways, so we have this rich string iterator. And this isn't actually doing anything. It's just making a bunch of methods. Okay, but it has the with rich string iterator, which is nice. And then I'm making a rich string, which is just a new rich string iter. Again, I don't like... See, and if I do this, that doesn't work, right? Oh. What? Are you kidding me? So wait, I don't even have to compile this? Oh. That's very funny that I've been doing this so unoptimally. I mean, my way's like probably faster, like more efficient, but I like that. And it even knows which ones to run. You can't do that with Java, right? I'm like 100% sure that doesn't work with Java. I can't just say Java some .java file. Where's the .java file? Ah. Z shell is too good. I can't just do Java. Dog.java. Get the fuck out of here. I've literally been using Java for years and did not know you could do that. Is that new? Is that something new? Like this is from OpenJDK 13. That has to be a new thing. And what? It's just interpreting it? I'm very surprised. Class for string iter, extend string iter, Scala with rich iterator. Oh, but anyways, if I do Scala, what did I call this? Mixins. Dot Scala. So what this is doing is that all has next, f's out next. Wait a second. How does it know what to for each? Okay, this is what I hate right here. I can't. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be like very disappointed. Because that syntax just looks so dumb. I don't even know what to do about it. Is it? You know what? I'm gonna do this the old-fashioned way because I actually don't believe that this is working the way I think it is. Can I? All right. Ugh, there's so many things I want to do. Wow, I really can't believe that works. Something totally random that I want to try is that I want to see if I can run this as a shell script. Like, well, I guess I can try from here first. If I do n with Scala, I feel like this might work. Can you do that with Java too? You can't do that with Java. What if I just did dot slash? What's this? Unexpected class, expected class or object definition? Come on, Scala. Oh shit. This could actually be a problem because if hashtag isn't a comment in Scala, then this way works, but if I try using Scala C to compile it, it's not gonna work. That's super annoying. I don't like that. Okay. I'm upset by this because what I want is that I want a way so that I can either call Scala on it or so that it will just transparently, like, you know? So this is not good. And obviously I'll just get rid of it, but isn't that so annoying? Maybe there's a way around this. Scala shebang. What? Yeah, that's like... Isn't that dumb? I think that's pretty dumb. Okay, anyways, I'm just making sure that this is working. Yeah, not having dots is freaking crazy. Like, that looks so silly. I can't even stand it. I don't know what's up with like, I get it. They're trying to like remove all the unnecessary stuff, but I actually don't like it. But maybe I'm just an old fart. So, anyways, so this is new bridge string. Okay, so my question is, does it have to extend it from here, or can I do? Um, Fair enough. Oh, so I have to pick. And it is just a trait. No, that's a trait. This isn't. So I don't even want... Okay, I want this to just take any old string. So I'd want this to take a string. And I'll come back to that tomorrow. A string iterator, the superclass, and rich iterator. It's a mix-in. Alright, I'm hopping off. I'm pretty sure there's nobody here, though. Alright, I got 2 bots. Who are we rating bots? Let me find like the lowest person on science and technology to raid. That's kind of funny, right? Or just pathetic. There's got to be somebody with 0 viewers, right? Well, I'd like them to at least speak English.